Hello out there, my name is Teddy, and a while back someone asked me. I posted a video of a shoe I have 3D scanned, and they were curious how I did it and what my setup was like. I was trying then to record a video, however my computer was under specs. I had an 8700K processor and it could not do laser scanning with the Inspire 2 while recording as video from the screen because it all lagged like crap. But now I have upgraded to a 5950X processor, which means I have 32 cores to work with, and that should work a lot better. First of all, I can show my setup and what I use. First of all, I use the Inspire 2. I started by buying the Inspire 1 about 2 years ago, and when the Inspire 2 came out and had laser scanning, I thought that was very interesting, so I jumped to that. And recently they have been using Revo Metro to use with the scanner, but now RevoScan 6.x also includes Inspire 2. So I'm a little confused now. Should I use RevoScan or should I use Revo Metro? Because both security support the Inspire 2. But in this case here, I will try to show you my scanning process for using RevoScan. There's a few things I've been writing to Revopoint about the software, like stuff like some changes I would like to have, and also a factor that sometimes when you are scanning, the display on the screen starts to zoom out. And that is really annoying, and I have requested an option so that it does not zoom out, or you can select it to zoom out if you want to capture a bigger area. But I would rather to just be able to see the area I'm scanning and around that, and not starting zooming out, because the more it zooms out, I can't keep up with the quality of the scan and what I am missing. But I hope that comes in a future release, near future. But till then, I will show you my setup. And for that, I will start record a video extra here from my phone. So I will just turn that on so I have something to cut to. Like this, and bing. And let's just do a snap so we have something to sync on. Like that. Okay. This you see here is the shoe I scanned. It is a bit more worn now, but what the hell. And then I made this acrylic plate. I painted with black spray paint, matte paint, and then I put on a lot of stickers, of those reflective stickers on the plate. I also have done, I'm not sure if it helps, but I drew some of these, and then I use them also to help calculate like cups like this in different heights. So I have markers in various heights, as I believe that will be making the calibration of the scan even better, because it's not just a flat panel of points, but points in various levels, which in my mind should make it a bit more stable. So a little dust, and then I will check my shoe can be here, and the points, I'll move them around a bit here. Like this. And then I will make a marker scan first. So I remove the shoe. Underneath this is a Lazy Susan. A Lazy Susan is like a turning table that is manual that I bought on Temu. It is a little bit wobbly, but if you just turn it slowly, there's nothing wrong. It works just fine. You can see it here. Like this. It's actually used for cakes. When you gotta decorate cakes, you can rotate them and then, yeah, try to center it as good as possible so it's less wobbly, and then turn it slowly. I then will go into my software here and make a new scan. And I will start by making a global marker. And global marker is where you record how the markers are, so it does not have to concentrate the same way when you are capturing your 3D model. So I click global marker, I click laser, and I click confirm. And we have an old one, but because I have placed the cups there now, I will delete that and make a new one. I am running the Inspire 2 scanner through Wi-Fi. My computer is connecting to that, and then I have a battery pack here, which runs pretty nice. I can then start here by tracking all the markers. I just raise the brightness of the laser a bit. You see, we get everything with. Like this, and I will start scanning and rotating the plate so I get the markers from all the angles. And as you can see already in the preview, the ones that are raised on the cups differ from the ones on the planes, which is also why I think it will help to calculate better the depth of the object. So let's start capturing the points. Around the plate. And I'll then rotate it a bit. To get the markers from the cups from all sides. I can see Revo Scan 6 sometimes does some weirdo stuff, but again, it is under development. But I see sometimes it comes up with some odd small dots while doing this. But I don't think that will be a problem. And the better the marker scan, the easier it should be to scan the model, of course, because there's a lot of tracking points to look into. And I think we are about done. So I'll press the button here again. Blip. And let's see. We have about 244 markers, which should be very good for tracking this. We say complete. And now you see the frame up here, which is the markers. I can then select now, I'm on parallel lines, and I need to do the cloud scanning now, which is the cloud scanning of the shoe. So now I need to place the shoe on the platform in the center, and up here I can click Scan Point Cloud. As you know, this RevoScan version is new. It got a new interface. It's got Inspire 2 included, which means there's also some stuff that sometimes acts a little weird and it's not easy to find. There are some stuff I hope will be fixed, like why are you not able to delete points before doing fusion, because that is just extra calculations for nothing. And if you're in a product environment, then it's like wasting time right out the window. But I'll place the shoe here. I have no special lights here in the room. It's just normal daylight coming in through the window, and that's it. So I will now click Scan Point Cloud, and it should be thinking for a sec. And in a minute, you will see something happening over here. I will turn up the brightness of the laser so I begin to see it on the shoe, as you see here. Like this. And as you see, the frame rate in the viewport is a little bit weird because I haven't started scanning. Why it cannot figure it out until I start scanning, I do not know, because it shows fine in the little preview, but it would be nice again if that was fixed. Again, while I start scanning, you will see perhaps that sometimes it tries to zoom out in the viewport, which is pretty annoying because then I get trouble to view what is going on, and there's no option to fix that. So I've written to a RetroScan and Revopoint and told them, please fix now. So I'm hoping for one of the future updates this will be fixed. But let's try scan the first part of the shoe. I just rotate it a bit here, and let's start the scanner. And now I just move it slowly over the shoe. And a little down on the side. And as you know, the blue parts is freshly scanned, and if they turn Turkish, they will, or teal, it will be done approximately with the data needed. So I will try rotate a bit again here. As you see now, it starts to zoom out. So over here from where I'm standing, I get a hard time viewing. Have I scanned it all? And that is really annoying. So I need to move my mouse over here again, zoom in, and in a minute it will start zooming out again, and it's just really, really annoying. But let's see if we can get as far as possible with this scan anyway. and see what we get. And of course, it's really hard to get inside the shoe. But there might be ways to fix that, or again, it zooms out, so I can't see anything. And I need to zoom in. And it just zooms out. Let's rotate again. So that zooming out thing, you see now, why? Why? So I need to be able to reach my mouse to zoom in again, and every time I move, I might get problems with the result of my scan. So please, Revopoint, if you see this video, fix this zoom thing. It should pan around where I view. It should not zoom out. See again? It should not zoom out the viewport. Every time I need to move to get the mouse in hand, and every time I have a chance of losing tracking of the 3D model. I'm trying to get as much as I can from the inside. And I have no tracking markers on the shoe because I have so many tracking marks right up to and around the shoe to help the tracking. So let's try and see how that works. Let's complete. And we have captured, well, 10,000 frames. It might be too much, it might be too little, but again, to be sure to get everything and to not have all this data around is, yeah, somewhat annoying, also due to the zoom problem. Now, I would very much like to be able to select all this and delete it, because there's no reason to use calculation time on that, but you can't do that until you have made the fusion. So I have also asked Revopoint, can we please get the opportunity to select and delete stuff here before? If I'm to scan 20 scans or 10 scans on a day, on a work day, this is a lot of extra time doing calculations of point that I do absolutely not need. So I hope that will be a thing again. I go to high quality, let's say 2.5. And remove marker points. Yeah, well, there's a lot of dirt out here. You can't do much about that. But it would be really nice if I was capable of removing this before doing the fusion. So It will then take 2 minutes right now. And in that 2 minutes, I can manage to make a cup of coffee. So I'll be right back. And as you see here, this is the shoe so far. Of course, we have a little notches here and there. And that's another thing. I do not have any markers up here, but sometimes when markers are close to an object, it can like cut through the object, which wonders me a lot. So Revopoint, again, if you see this, why is that possible, that markers can do weird stuff like cut up and cut into models, as you see? So now it is made into a point cloud, as you see. And we can start scanning part 2. Let's just clean this one up here fast. Let's say this, and this. And of course, it used data on calculating this as well, which I do not need. So it would have been really nice if I was able to select this before going to do the fusion, and then after that, everything would be nice, and I saved a lot of time on my workday. I'm not sure what we do about this one. It's a little bit annoying. We also got a dot right there. Can I select connected on this? I bet that will be the whole shoe. Yep. Yep. Invert selection, delete. We got some extra. And you see, this is some, let's do this. And we'll have to live to that with that right now and fix that later. We will then need to do the next scan for us to merge these two to get the bottom of the shoe. So we can go and say new scan, I think. Yes, and we're gonna do a marker scan. We also have marker scan, laser scan, and it should end up in here, I think. Or no. Nope. It's this new interface. It's not like it's total intuitive for me. Let's see. This is the raw data. This is the fusion. Yes, but where is the... We go to scan. Nope, we need to make a new scan. Okay. A little confusing, yes. Because I would like to make the next scan. Let's just try this in. We say marker scan, laser, and we tell this shoe part 2. And let's see what happens. In my opinion, Revo Metro is a little more intuitive for this, but let's see what happens. We have everything ready. Let's set this to 20 in quality, and we then need to scan as well. I will rise the contrast a bit like before, and then we will need to turn around the shoe. Let's put exposure to 2, like this, and I'll find something to let the shoe rest on. So let's turn around like this, and we then need to face the shoe like this, and then put something underneath here. Let's see what we got. Let's see what we got. What do we have in the taste today? Maybe I can use one of my reflector markers here to put underneath. Like this. It seems, if I do it slowly, reasonable, stable. So, battery in the back pocket, and I dropped my hat. Let's see if we can scan the other side of the shoe. Let's see. And I hope it does not start to zoom out again like before, because that is very annoying. And I'm looking so much forward to see if they fix that. Let's rotate a bit. Again, it zooms out for unknown reasons. Let's rotate again. And suddenly it stutters for some reason. You see, it's really weird. Why is it zooming out and then there's no not markers? What is going on? Definitely something is messing up. right now. As you see, sometimes it even looks like it turns off the lasers. For some reason. And I'm not sure why that is happening. But soon we will be done with a button here of the shoe. Like this. And let's say complete. Again, I would very much have liked to delete most of this, but I cannot. But let's go to Fusion, run it by the same settings as before. And in the meantime, we can take a sip of the coffee. And we have point cloud of the rest of the shoe. So now I can line it up like this. And let's just say delete this. Delete this. So we have the bottom part and the top part. So we should be able to merge this part and this part. So let's try this merging here in RevoScan. That is part 1 and that is part 2. And we have a manual align and we have automatic align. So I think we will try to run from features and say preview. And see what happens. And it is pretty decent. Of course, I would like to delete some of this here, just so we don't have overlapping. But we can also try use the overlapping features to get this done. So I will say create model. And this is what we have. So I have the new PC merge now. It's a little bit weird in the new interface compared to the old one, but let's try. And you see, as is, this is still points. I can go and clean up a bit here and there. And let's just clean this a little bit. And we have some here as well. Flip. Let's see. As you see, there are a lot of points, and there's a little bit that is off, but let's see how it goes. Of course, there might be a little bit of cleanup after all this. Let's do an overlap check. To see if we find some overlapping 1 millimeter. We say 1 point. Let's see if that's okay. Let's see if that is okay. And there will be a little bit of error here, it seems, because it's a little bit misaligned. But let's try. I'm not going to smooth it or anything. I'm going to select mesh, high quality, fill holes, and let's say 2.2 quality, and apply. And as you see, that's why I would have loved to been able to go in and delete this, because this is causing some problems, and it did not figure that out doing the overlapping settings. So if I deleted this, so I only had the bottom of the shoe, I would not have this error here. But this is how the shoe looks so far. I got some small errors and some holes, and still it's a pretty nice result for a fast setup. We have not done anything to do anything crazy. As you see, I missed the middle, the inside of the shoe. And let's see if we can go to the merge. Can I set anything for that? I cannot. Can I go to... Is that set already? Let's go into this one and see. We did fusion on 0.25 on this. This is the one, 0.25. If we take the raw data and we say fusion 0.15, we'll try to up the quality a bit on the model itself. And then we can see if we can delete the marks that is unwanted on the model, so we don't get that extra line. Yeah, and we did again, and it is a little bit, as you see, it's a little more soft here, but in 1.5 the details are somewhat sharper, the lines here are sharper and so on. So let's clean up. Like this. And we have the shoe as far as possible. We have this part here sticking out. And that is about it for the first part here. Let's take this one as well. So this is going to be the upper part of the shoe. So what I could do is to cut here to cut off the sole, so that we in the other end do not have the extra markers from it. This one is the old one. I will delete that. So we only have the 1.5, 0.15. Let's go to Files and take this half and let's generate 0.15 as well for that. Remove marker points, yeah. Do that. And this was estimate 1 minute, but in fact it was 3 minutes and 51 seconds. And that is why I say I would love to be able to delete some of this stuff that I do not need before this. So now we're going to clean up, and I'm going to take only the sole and what I have to the sole. So we clean up these edges here. So let's zoom in a bit, and then I will follow this line here. Delete this. Because we have a lot of markers on the sole on the other one that it should be able to track to, I hope. This is L, yeah, and this is B, so L. And by doing this, we do not get the double-sided error on the side of the shoe that we got before. So we should end up with a cleaner model. Like this. Yes. The old one here I'm going to delete. And then let's go to yes. Merge. I would like to merge. Then it should be this one plus this one. which is now both 0.15 in resolution, which means it should be a lot sharper now. And as you see now, we have the top and we have the button, which does not have all the sides up here, which were overlapping before. So my hope is that these two can figure out to align because of all these spots around here. So if we get a bit messy, it will only be down here on the sole. Let's try preview and alignment. And I gotta see now it's 0.15. I gotta see what happens when it merges. If it stays in 0.15. Overlapping error is less than 10%. Okay, so it did not like that very much, which means we have cleaned too much here from the shoe, which is not good. So if this is the inside, and this is the inside, we can do a manual alignment of the two instead. So let's zoom in here. See, we have a good marker, like here is a good point, and that is there. That is 0.1 for alignments. Then let's take 0.2 and say that is 1, 2, 3. Let's put it here. Point number 2. And let's move around a bit. What do we have? We have this edge here. Let's take this and place around there. We have an edge here. Let's take that as well. I cannot see that, where it is. So that would be stupid. Can I undo that? I'll try. Let's see if we can have over here. Let's remove that and let's see. This one is around this one. And every time you can see it gets more and more aligned. We have a square here. Let's take that as well. And then that as well. And we have this one, which aligns to this one. And slightly we get all the way around to find these markers. We have one here. And I think That should be hopefully around it. So let's try generate model from this. And hopefully we should have a model now that is without errors up on the side as before. I'm not sure about the performance. I have a 32 core processor, but as you see, it's not doing very much, and my GPU is 50% right now. It sets to GPU accelerated, so yeah, I don't know. But we got a shoe. We got a couple of holes to take care of that we might be able to fix. PC merge, yes. Let's go out of merge and go to the one we did here. Start editing. And let's say isolate. Is there anything to isolate? There's a little bit. Yes. Please eat that. And of course we have a hole in here because we could not scan that, and we had a hole over here. We can, when we get to the mesh, fix that as well. We check for overlapping. It shouldn't be much. Let's try detect. It shouldn't be much. A little bit. Apply overlap. Let's try 100 again. Just to get a little extra. Yeah, deletes. Good. Now we could go and mesh this. As you see now, we do not have the double line inside. So I will go high quality. I will go fill holes and let do it automatically. I can also do the holes manually, but let's just take automatically and then see what happens. As you see now, 3 minutes. It's not really using any processor. And graphic card is, either it's using CUDA cores, which I maybe cannot see, or I'm not sure what power it's using for this. But yeah, it makes it a little uncertain if it is probably optimized to use the hardware for this. And I'll just fast forward again a little bit on this one. So, cheers. And it is done. As you see, because of the marker that was left here, I got an odd dot that I need to fix. But this is the shoe at 0.17. And it closed most of the holes. There are some here. I can see if I can fill let's say curve here. Hole detection. And that takes some time, but it's also 0.17 millimeters. So we right now have 19 million polygons for this model. Total overkill. But yeah, depends on the usage of the model. Let's see if we can kill some holes here. And this is why we need coffee. But I just take the most visible holes and fix them. Apparently we have maybe no progress bar on this one. And of course, if we have generated the model in, say, 0.25 or 0.3 millimeters, that would be a lot less faces in the model, and it will be quicker to work with. But again, it's a good thing to have as high quality as possible, and then you can always downgrade from there, so you have the data from the original. Let's see how far it gets with this. And we got it closed. We got a hole there. Apparently I should have selected more. Detect. Got to be patient. But again, as I said earlier, I wrote Revopoint to ask them to fix the zoom problem while scanning, why it starts zooming out, and so on. And I hope that will be fixed in a future version. Let's close these holes. Let's see, do we have anything more? Of course, we have a big one inside. But I do not care about that right now. Let's just take these two, and that's about the last thing I will do for this model. And the shoe by itself is a little rough on the surface due to the material, but also the scan does give a little bit of roughness on even total smooth surfaces. You will see a little bit of roughness on the surface depending on the scale of the model, and also depending on how much detail you scan with the model. It is something that can be smoothed out either in Blender or whatnot. There are also some smoothing options in here, but again, in many cases it can look better, but then your sharp details like the sewings and so on will get more diffuse, which in many cases I do not like. But in a program like Blender, you can smooth it with the brush, so you can have a lot more feeling to how much and where you smooth the model. So I would recommend smoothing it in a 3D application like Blender or so, instead of doing it in here for the final work of the model. Apparently this filling holes does not have any progress bar, so you don't know if it's 30 seconds or 6 hours. Perhaps they forgot this. And it's not like the processor is doing a lot. It's not like the graphic card is maxed out. And I'm recording at the same time as well. So yeah. Use the power. Use the force. And it's done, and all the holes are closed. And of course this needs to be fixed. But as you see here, this is the result of my shoe scanning setup using my Inspire 2 3D scanner. Can we? Nope, I would like to duplicate it, but I cannot, because then we could have run a little bit of smooth on it. As you see, if you look at the settings here, if I say smooth, strange 2.3, let's see what happens. I can always undo it. Here we also miss a progress bar. So I have no idea how long time this takes. But of course that will also smooth out some of the fabric from the actual shoe. Yep. That's smooth a little bit, but not much. But yeah. This is the result, and I hope you can use this and find it helpful, insightful, and whatnot. My name is Teddy, also by the handle Miss DK, and have fun out there.